record. All right, you guys, here we go. Welcome to a session with me, and nothing fancy, right? I wanted to shoot this one in a different location, just to get a different feel, and so far I like it. But I'm here to share some information with you guys. First of all, this is no okie doke type stuff, or no product stuff, anything like that. I'm not trying to sell you anything. And just let me put this disclaimer out there, just to let everybody know. First of all, I am not a doctor. Okay. I am not a health coach, or neither am I a fitness guru, right? I wanted to share that with you guys and say that. But, this information I'm giving you is solely off of research and my own personal life experience, right? And what I've experienced. I shared a photo with you guys the other day, of a before and after picture, and that was on my social media. And those of you that follow me on my social media, I appreciate you guys, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. If you follow me there, dope. Whether it be YouTube, I appreciate you guys' support. Stay locked in with me, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, to my YouTube channel, and so that you'll be notified and everything like that when I'm posting new content. And make sure you hit the notification bell too, so that you won't miss out. So that if you're not getting it on any of my other social media outlets, you can always go there or get a notification when I'm doing something like this, right? So I'm dedicating 1 day a week, right? 1 day a week to have a conversation with you guys, and to just talk about weight loss. I know it is a difficult situation. I know it's very challenging, and especially when you're doing it by yourself, right? But before I jump into everything, I want to also let everybody know this, is that I'm not going to overload you with information in one session. Okay, I want to get that out of the way right now. I'm a pace type dude, right? And when you're talking about a journey is something that is not done quickly, right? So a journey takes patience. It takes a lot of heart, grind, and it's something that you got to be ready for. So if you're looking for something quick, then this is not for you. You're in the wrong place. If you're looking for a quick answer, or give me all the information. I've had a few people jump into my inbox or jump into my comments and say, what are you doing, right? And I appreciate the inquiry, but I'm not going to overload a person with information. I do it for a reason. Throughout my career, I've been afforded the opportunity to work in different capacities, leadership, a trainer. I am, a certified trainer or whatnot, right? In the corporate world, training on different things and stuff like that. So I understand different type of learners, but I also understand too, information. So in a setting like this, you don't want to overload people with information. You want them to be able to walk away with the meaning of the content, right? and so that they'll be able to execute. It's good to see you guys in the session too, by the way. So thanks for taking time, and I promise I'm gonna do what I can to make this worth it, right? But yeah, I just wanted to say that though, like, you know, it's all about pace, and that's what I had to understand. It's all about pace, and a lot of us have done the wrong things, right, to our bodies over the years, right? Like me, right? I've done a lot of wrong things to my body over the years. You know, eating the wrong things, and not exercising like I should, you know, things like that, and I just never gave myself the time that I need, and so I paid for it, right? I paid for it, and I'm still paying for it because I'm still working to get to a certain goal. Now, I want to tell you too that so with that being said, it's going to take some time getting where you need to go. You know, if it took you years, if it took you years to get there, to do certain things to your body, for you to get to your weight gain that you're at right now, is going to take some time for you to correct that, you know. And so so with me, you know, I kind of lost my weight kind of fast, and that can happen to you, but I lost my weight fast, right? But now I'm in a situation where I'm toning, and you know, and I want to see the tone of my muscles a lot more, and so so that's the journey that I'm on, right? And so but with that being said, there's going to be some ups and downs. There's going to be some moments where everything, you know, didn't go as planned. You had a bad eating day, and things like that, and a lot of times we start these journeys, and as soon as we mess up, right? As soon as we have you know, a failure, we just knock ourselves out of the race. We just quit, like, you know, like we're done. And that's not the attitude that you want to have. Just because you mess up, that doesn't mean that you know, your life is over. It doesn't mean that the journey that you're on, that you screwed up. You just got to keep going, right? Today I had a pretty bad day, but tomorrow will be better. Or sometimes you have multiple bad days, and but that's what happens, you know, on a journey. And so you can't give up. You got to dedicate yourself to stand on it. You got to stand in the grind, regardless of what happens, right? Regardless of the mistake, regardless of the failures that you have, you got to keep pushing. And sometimes that can be hard, especially when you're doing it by yourself. So so this is the point of me sharing this content, right? And you know, and that's why, you know, I do what I do. You know, even with my whole recruiting thing that I have on my channel, I do it out of love. I'm not doing it for anything like any type of financial gain or anything like that. But I understand that there are givers that are out there. So for all my givers, if you want to support the channel in any way, shape, or form, that's perfectly fine. You know, you could support me via Cash App, and it's greatly appreciated. You don't have to, of course, but it's definitely appreciated if you do. Because the truth of the matter is that it takes a lot of time, you know, behind the scenes with content and things like that. And maybe one of those days I'll share that with you guys, so you guys can see the grind behind all this. It was challenging for me to continue to go through with this. You know, it was challenging for me to make my initial posts. It was challenging for me to go through with this and do this video and do this session. It was challenging. on the back end, because it's a lot of work that takes place that people don't see. So it gives your mind time to go through a lot of a lot of changes, a lot of emotions, like, I really don't want to do this, or I don't feel like it, I just want to chill, right? So that's the thing, and going at this pace too with you guys, it also puts a lot of things into perspective. And one of the things that it does, it shows how bad you really want it, right? Because if you want it bad enough, you'll lock in, and you'll be focused on the information that we're discussing, right? You'll be focused on the information that we're discussing, and it also gives you time to get your mind in a place of the direction that you're actually going in. In my video leading up to this session, I said I want you guys to start getting your mind and pushing your mind in the area of your goal, right? Of your weight loss goal, and start pushing your mind there, because and now I'm going into exactly how I got started with my weight journey. First of all, I didn't realize how big I was. I didn't really realize it. I didn't realize it until like my parents passed away. Yep. Back in 2014, my parents passed away 30 days apart at a very young age, and my dad was 59 and my mom was 54, and I didn't realize how big I was. And so once they passed away, they kind of shook me, and it kind of made me start looking over my own life, right? And I know a lot of my followers that I have, or people that are in this session, are probably our church people, or we've met in church, right? Because that's my background. I'm not going to deny that, but I promise you, this is not going to be a bashing session on religion or beliefs or anything like that, because the truth be told, everybody have a right to believe in whatever it is that they believe in. And, I have my own beliefs. I'm a person of faith. And so from time to time, you may hear me refer to certain things that help me, whether it be scriptures, motivational things. I'll share that information with you. But yeah, so I recognize that a lot of my audience, we probably met, in church, and that's just who I am. And I have that background, and I believe it all happened for a reason, right? So, but now going into the content though, I want to share exactly what happened to me. And like I was telling you guys, my parents passed away, and when that happened, it made me start looking at myself. And I started evaluating my health and things like that, because my mom instilled in me as a young child, and she stayed on top of my doctor's appointments and things like that. So that's something that stuck with me as I've gotten older. I've always went to the doctor once a year and things like that. But I started looking at myself, and I noticed how big I was, and I was like, wow. And here's the scripture, right? I think in the book of Ecclesiastes is that Solomon said, it's better to spend your time at funerals than at parties, because those are the moments, funerals have more of a defining effect on you than parties, right? You go to a funeral, it just put life into perspective. And sometimes it's a shame, because we go to so many funerals, we become accustomed to it, and it don't have the effect that it should. But a lot of time we go to funerals and we start looking over our own life and things like that, and and how we should do better. We want to live better and stuff. And and that's what I was doing, right? And so, and that stuck with me, and I wanted to get myself together. And that was back in 2014. And so, and at the time when I jumped on the scale, I was 292 pounds, and I didn't realize it. What that would look like for me, like a eating day, shoot, man. And some of you already know I could put it away, right? But I was, me and my wife, because of time, I was working a job. She was working at the salon, and I'm a musician at the church and things like that. And so our life was kind of fast. Our children were in sports. So, so we would, go out to eat and stuff like that. But like if we went to a McDonald's, I would get like a double quarter pounder meal with mac sauce, large fry, with a large Coke, a 10-piece nugget, and 2 apple pies to top me off, right? That's how my meal would look. And I didn't realize that I was putting it away. And the funny part is that, like, I had my weights at home, and, I would still go play basketball, from time to time. But I didn't realize how big I was. And that, ultimately wasn't healthy, right? So out of fear, because I lost my parents, I started losing weight out of fear. But it was working. It was working. I started losing weight, and I got down to like, I believe I got down to like 250, like 254 or 253 or something like that. And then the scale wasn't moving anymore, right? And so I was like, whoa. And so I kind of got discouraged, and so I just gave up. And before you know it, I was floating between like 265 and 270, right? And so I just couldn't, but I just gave up. And so years go by, and it's a lot that happened between then. When my parents passed away, I got a little sick, between a lot of heartburn. I was experiencing bad heartburn, and I believe I had also some anxiety that was playing a part in that too. But it was bad. It was really bad. And I'll tell you guys this too, just have a level of transparency. But since I was young, I was on and off with smoking marijuana, right? On and off. And when my parents passed away, I kind of picked it up even worse. And because I was trying to cope with life, right? I was being numb, and my body got to a point where it just started rejecting things. And I had a episode with SVT situations. I think it's cervical or severe ventricular tachycardia or something like that. And to the point where my heart was just racing real bad. I had to go to the hospital. I thought I was getting to leave here, and I stayed in the hospital for like 3 or 4 days. And they told me that I had a episode, SVT. And I always was told, by my doctors when I would go get my physical, that I have a healthy heart. And so, so for me to hear that, it was kind of messing with me. So that's what kind of drove me to kind of start losing weight too, right? So I was scared into losing weight, but anyway, it stopped, and the scale stopped, and it wasn't moving anymore. Fast forward to now. To 2020, right? I told my wife, now all this time from that point on, I was taking medication for heartburn, because all that was hitting me at once. Heartburn, anxiety, then I had the SVT, all that was just hitting me all at once. And, and so I think that happened to me for a reason, because so I can learn how to be in tune with my body. And so I started really, really paying attention, and the medication I was on, at late at nighttime, sometimes I would have, anxiety attack, right? Where I'll feel like I'm getting ready to die. My heart will be, palpitations be happening. And I was just in in bad shape, so when 2020 hit, it kind of got me to thinking. And I told my wife, I was like, I started paying attention to the medication I was taking for my heartburn, and I looked at the side effects, and it was saying like heart palpitation, anxiety, and things like that. So the medication that they had me on had a lot of side effects, and I didn't realize it. And so I told my wife, I said, honey, I don't want to take this medication anymore, because they gave me the medication and said, here's the heartburn medication. He was like, you should be fine. You can go back to eating anything you want, right? Like, why wouldn't they tell me, hey, to just, to make better choices, right? To make better choices so that I won't have to depend on that medication. So that really baffled me, and I became angry at my doctor for that. Instead of you trying to coach me out of it, you kept me, on the medication, and you were just telling me to continue to eat anything that I want. And that was stupid. But, so I told my wife I didn't want to do it anymore. So I took myself off the medication immediately, right? But I weaned myself off the medication. I did some research, and I started taking the medication less and less every week. So I went from taking it twice a day to once a day, right? And then after once a day, I went down to taking it 4 days a week, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, until I got to 0, right? So I weaned myself off of it, and I haven't taken that medication since then. So since 2020, and we're now in 2022, and I haven't even looked back on the medication for heartburn that I was taking. So I'm excited about that. So that was my first step, and I'm excited about that. So now we're in 2022, and I wanted to see, I made up in my mind, that starting in January that I was going to change. I was going to change. But before I did that, I started doing a lot of things, right? And here's the first thing that throughout this whole process that you need to that I think that you need to focus on, that's going to help you. What is that first thing? And this is why I was telling you to get your mind, because it all starts with the mind. That's where it starts here, right? You have to prepare yourself like what you're getting ready to do, and what you're getting ready to tackle, the challenge that you're getting ready to tackle. It's a mental thing, right? You gotta get your mind ready for battle and the focus. And that's what I did. So, and while I was getting my mind there, I started focusing all of my energy and everything in my mental towards that direction. But I told you guys that, I was born and raised in the church, right? So a lot of things that I heard in the church and things like that, it stuck with me, and it started making sense. So the first thing that I would say that you would need to do is have a level of spirituality. Have a level of spirituality. And why do you say that? Because having a level of spirituality, it equals to me discipline. Spirituality equals discipline. That's what start making sense to me. That's what I started focusing on. Spirituality equals discipline. And I'll for my Bible people, I'll give you some context on that. But I want you to get in your mind that spirituality equals discipline. To have any level of spirituality, you have to have a level of discipline. You do, because it takes discipline to execute. It takes discipline to operate in spirituality. It does. And so you have to have a level of discipline. And here's the good news. If you are, if you're a believer like I am, that's something that you have that you haven't really exercised yet. And that's what I had to start thinking about, because a lot of times we can show people what type of lifestyle that we're living just by the level of spirituality we have. You really do. You really can. But we don't pay attention to it because everything sounds cliche-ish and we're people of routine and we don't pay attention. But if you really pay attention, everybody's struggling with something. And I'm not bashing anybody, but everybody's struggling with something. But you got people that are telling people to do this and do that and live better lives and things like that. But they're struggling with their weight, right? And all of it is spiritual. All of it is spiritual. And what I was raised in the church to believe in, and I heard things like, we got to fast, right? Fasting, right? Which, abstaining away from food for a certain amount of time. Fast, right? Push your plate back and things like that. But yet still a lot of believers are struggling with their weight. And so as I got older, I became a man, it started, really bothering me. And I was asking the question like, well, how can we focus on these things, right? But not focus on these things, because, that's letting me know that you're having a problem with discipline when I'm looking at, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at your weight, right? That's a problem with discipline, whether we like it or not. Oh, I inherited this. I have, high blood pressure and I gain weight easily because of my family and those are all excuses. Those are all excuses. The fact of the matter is that you have a discipline issue, whether you want to believe that or not. And so we are disqualified and don't even realize it. So for my Bible people, the Bible says that, for God hath not given you the spirit of fear, right? Here's another cliche-ish scripture, but of love, power and love, and of a sound mind, right? God hath not given you the spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. We heard that, right? Sound mind means self-discipline, right? So, and God has given that to us. So it's time for us to exercise self-discipline. So it's time for us to exercise self-discipline. And because God has given that to us, right? And so that's what I started focusing on. Spirituality equals to me self-discipline. And so I started talking to the Creator. I started talking to having those conversations. Like, I don't want to be like this. I want to be around for my grandkids. I want to be around for my children and things like that. I don't want to rush the process. A lot of us are rushing the process of death, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to slow things down. So I started having those conversations with myself and having those conversations with the Creator, and I believe He heard me, right? I believe I was heard by God, the Creator, the universe. I put it all out there, right? And so So with that being said, I started looking at scriptures like this too, that says bodily exercise profited little, right? But godliness is profitable unto all things. So if you have a level of spirituality, then it equals discipline, because spirituality says that, that you're going to live better, right? You're not going to be perfect, but you're going to live better. And so here's the thing. So bodily exercise profited little. So what that's saying is that, exercise, is half the battle. It's like a real small percentage. That's really what I took away from that scripture. And I've been hearing that all my life too. Bodily exercise profited little. So it's really not about exercise. So I took a step back on exercising, because I was exercising often. I would work out 3-4 times a week, but still nothing was happening, right? And so that made sense to me. Bodily exercise profited little. Some of you right now going to the gym every day. Y'all going on your walks, y'all running every day, and nothing is happening. You don't see any results. That's because exercise is very little percentage of your weight loss journey. It is. But godliness is profitable unto all things. So spirituality says that I understand that I have to push my plate back. I understand that I can't fall in love with food like I do, and like I have in the past. I can't worship food, right? That means that my spirituality has to go up a few notches, and food has to go lower, right? My spirituality has to be at a higher level than food, right? And so that was the thought process. Bodily exercise profited little, but godliness. So if I'm practicing spirituality, I'm treating myself better. I'm understanding that I need to push my plate back. I understand that I have to eat less. I understand that I cannot be a lover of food. Food is the devil. We heard that a lot, right? But food is the enemy. Food is a drug. The reason why people feel better when they eat is because you're releasing those same chemicals in your body that get released when somebody is doing drugs or shooting drugs in their veins, right? Or however they choose to do it, smoking it, drinking. Drinking, drugs, right? All of that. You're releasing those same chemicals in your mind. It's a chemical that get released called the dopamine, and that's what you're after. And that makes you feel great, right? That makes you feel so great, and that's what you're after, right? So, and those same chemicals get released when you have food that you really love, right? Food, it's, as soon as you get it, it's like, oh my God, right? And so now you're releasing that chemical in your brain called dopamine, and now you become addicted to food. So spirituality equals discipline. That's what I wanted to talk about in this session. That's what I wanted to get you guys in the mindset of. Bodily exercise profited little, and but godliness is profitable unto all things. So when you have a level of spirituality, you're treating yourself better. You're treating your temple better, right? Because you understand that that spirituality is at a higher priority. And so so that's what I started doing, which is why, and then I started looking over the life of Jesus. When the first thing that he did after he got baptized, he went straight into the wilderness to be tempted, right? Fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. And guess what happened? He was tempted, right? You can't become tempted unless it's something that you're desiring, because a man is not tempted unless he is drawn the way of his own lust and enticed, right? So then a person becomes tempted. So I'm pretty sure Jesus wanted to eat, but he said, man shall not live by bread alone, right? So once again, we gotta put food down here, right? We gotta put food down here. And that's why Daniel wouldn't eat the meat. I'm trying to help you. This is what my mind was going through. You're here, you wanted to know. But that's why Daniel wouldn't eat the meat. And he told the guard, hey, listen, just give me vegetables and water, and I'm going to look just as better than those that have been eating meat. And he sure did. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys, right? We're taking this session by session, week by week, but we're gonna take it slow. If you can't remember anything that I said in this video, and I hope something that was said in this video, wow, the sun came out. When the sun hit your face, right? So it's the sun for me. But no, but if you can't remember anything I said in this video, remember this: spirituality equals discipline. And I'm not telling you, oh, you gotta believe in Jesus and things like that. That's not what I'm saying. Whatever spirituality means to you, you have to go on that journey for yourself, right? I can't do that. And for those of you that are churched out and thinking like this is an opportunity for him to witness, no, it's really not. But it is an opportunity for me to lift up, right? Because he said, if I be lifted up, I'll draw. So I'm not worried about that. So spirituality equals discipline, and and weight loss is spiritual. Remember that. All right, listen, we're gonna be back again. I really enjoyed this session, and I hope that you enjoyed it as well. But we're gonna be back again on next week, and throughout this process, I'm gonna try to we're gonna do testimonials and all that stuff, right? I'm gonna tell you guys about my wife, and for those of you, those women that are here thinking like, oh, men lose weight faster than women. That is true, but my wife had the same level of success, and she lost just as much weight as I did, right? So, and we'll talk about that because I offered it to her, and she jumped on board, and that was good help for me. So, because a lot of you guys are in situations where, where you're getting ready to make a lifestyle change, but everybody in the house is combating that. So what do? Right? You got to get to a point and make a decision where you're saying like, hey, come hell or hot water, I don't care. This is what I'm doing. And, you guys got to understand. And if you want me to live, if you want me to be healthy, you understand that. All right. So we're going to be back next week, and we're going to talk about another piece, and we're going to do it on a weekly basis. It's a gradual climb. This is not made for those that want it all at once. I had a person say, tell me exactly what you did, jump into my comments or my inbox. I am, but within time. I'm not going to rush that on you like that. But you're more than welcome to, do your own research and go for it. But if you want to lock in with me and go at a nice pace where you're not putting a lot of pressure on yourself, that's fitting for your life, then this is for you. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you again. Let's talk again on next week. All right, I'm out of here. Sports Dad. Yeah.